96.5 The Fox, Bismarck, Mandan's classic rock station. My name is Matt Bingham, and happy to be joined on the phone by Stu Cook, Creedence Clearwater Revisited. They are coming to the Prairie Nights Casino in Fort Yates on August 20th. Stu, good morning. How are you?
I'm well.
Now, you've got the show coming up on August 20th, but you guys have been touring throughout 2016. Once again, you guys do 75, 100 shows a year.
No, we do 50. You're reading from an older bio.
You've cut back a little bit.
We have cut back. Yeah, it makes more sense. You know, we've covered the country for 22 years now. This is our 22nd year of rocking the free world, and you know, when you start to see the same place too often, you say, you know, maybe I should spend a little more time at home.
Now, you've actually been at this for nearly 50 years, obviously, first with Creedence Clearwater Revival. You kicked off Creedence Clearwater Revisited back in the mid-'90s. When you and Cosmo first met back in junior high, did you ever think, hey, I'm going to be hanging out with this dude 50 years later touring the country?
God, no, we could hardly stand each other. We actually got on pretty well. Once we got over, giving each other the tough guy look, we became fast friends, and it's great that we have a relationship that's lasted since, I want to say, 1957. I don't know, man, we're pushing, 60 years?
It's a long time, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Tell me about the first time meeting Cosmo. What drew you two to each other?
Well, we were in the same homeroom in junior high school, day one of the 7th grade, letter C, Clifford and Cook, and we both had on our leather jackets, and, we were doing our best James Dean imitations. And it turned out we had the same record collection. So music brought us together, actually.
How important has his friendship been to you over the years? I mean, like you said, you've known each other now nearly 60 years, 60-plus years.
That's true. Well, it's a very important relationship. We've grown up together for the most part, although some would say we still haven't gotten there, like my wife. Had most of our professional life together. We've done other projects aside from anything Creedence-centric, but, our careers are intertwined. Our lives are completely intertwined from that fateful day.
Joined on the phone by Stu Cook, Creedence Clearwater Revisited, performing at Prairie Nights Casino coming up on August 20th. Now, Stu, what do you think it is about the music of CCR that keeps fans wanting more? I mean, it's been quite some time since the band first, released their first album, yet audiences still pack concert venues across the country and across the world to see you guys.
Well, they do that. It's really the music. The records were big enough hits where people still remember them, and it's not so much that any fan wants more, is that there's just more fans now. There are actually more Creedence fans now than ever before. So it's a task of great joy to be able to take this music to all the fans around the world.
Let's talk a little bit about Creedence Clearwater Revisited. When you started the band back in the mid-'90s, did you and Cosmo plan on doing this for a long time, or at the time was it kind of we'll see how it goes? I mean, now you've been doing it for 20-plus years.
It was the latter. We had no idea what people would say, how they would react, and we certainly weren't going to do it if we didn't think it was first class. Once we got it all put together and rehearsed and started to feel comfortable with it, we knew that it was a winner, and we hoped everyone else would agree with us, and we were right.
Now, when you started putting the band together, what was the overall goal? Did you want it to sound just like CCR, or did you want to make sure you were with people on the road that you could tolerate for, months on end? What was the goal when putting together Creedence Clearwater Revisited?
Well, the goal was and still is to honor and celebrate the music of the quartet, Creedence Clearwater Revival.
Were you nervous at all when you decided to put together Creedence Clearwater Revisited that fans would be upset that you were doing the tour without John Fogerty in the fold?
That thought crossed our mind. We were looking at a bigger picture, the music, the body of work, the legacy of Creedence Clearwater Revival. We weren't worried too much about whether John was there or not. We thought we had something that was representative of the original band. None of the band members had been playing the original, the catalog in public for years, for decades. So we thought it was a good time to see if anybody still remembered the music, and much to our surprise, a large percentage of the audience were kids. To me, people, under 20 years old, and we thought maybe they came to the wrong concert. We weren't sure why they were at a Creedence concert. We expected much older demographic, but it turns out that we have solid 3 generations of fans now, working on 4.
Joined on the phone by Stu Cook, Creedence Clearwater Revisited at Prairie Nights Casino on August 20th. Now, Stu, as I was preparing the interview, basically everything I read, at some point, the interviewer asks you if there's a possibility of a reunion with John Fogerty. At this point, do you think that people are going to stop asking that question sometime soon?
No. You know, they've been asking it for quite a few years now. You know, long before we started the Revisited project, that question's been floating around, and the answer's still the same. Who knows? You know, I wouldn't bet on it, especially as we all get up in years. You know, I think it might have made more sense some years back, but you know, I've been surprised before. I don't expect to be surprised this time, but hey, life's full of surprises.
Do you ever find it difficult getting on stage and playing the same songs you've been doing for 40, 50 years at this point?
You know, every night is a different experience, and you just have to take it from the beginning each night, and you know, try and grow that feeling, grow the energy between the band members, between the band and the audience and the band. There's a chemistry that you have to work on every night. So no, nothing about it is really the same. Sure, the notes are the same, the words are the same, but the performances are different every night.
What keeps you, Cosmo, the rest of the band, out on the road playing these shows year in and year out? Like you said before, you're doing 50 shows a year at this point because you're getting up there in age, but you guys still go out and do it every year.
Our wives kick us out of the house at a certain point. Get out there and get to work.
I've read that your wife goes on tour with you sometimes. When you guys play shows that maybe she hasn't seen, she likes to join you on the road.
When we go to cities that she hasn't seen, she's seen the show plenty of times. She knows it inside and out. But when we go someplace that is interesting to her, she'll come along.
Has there ever been any thought regarding possibly recording new music with Creedence Clearwater Revisited?
We toyed with it 15, 20 years ago and decided that the idea, as I said, was to celebrate, honor the music of the original band. And you know, the catalog is so strong. I don't think we'd be sticking to our plan if we started diluting it with new compositions that really had nothing to do with the original band.
And you see a lot of bands from your era that try to put out new music and they play it in concert, and the audience just, unfortunately, they're just not into it. They want to hear the hits. They want to hear the songs they know over and over again.
That's true with anybody. They want to hear the last album. They're not interested yet in the new one. You know, it has to become, you know, a hit for them to want to hear it. So when it's tough to introduce new material in concert, people do take that opportunity to get up and go buy a beer.
How long do you think you and Cosmo will continue taking Creedence Clearwater Revisited out on the road? Like you mentioned before, you're 71 years old. You've been doing this for a long time. How much longer do you think this will go?
There's no telling. You know, as long as we're healthy, we'll keep hitting it. It's you know, travel is a pain, literally, but the performing is the joy. So you know, you can't have your sugar without your salt, I guess. So we have to keep it balanced. That's why we cut back to try and you know, maximize more time at home with our families and other activities in our lives that keep us charged up. So we're trying to make more room in our lives for that sort of stuff. But the idea of giving up performing is something that I don't think either one of us wants to talk about, unless there's, you know, some overriding other factor that comes into play.
Stu Cook and Creedence Clearwater Revisited will be at Prairie Nights Casino on Saturday, August 20th. Tickets are on sale right now at the Prairie Nights box office, prairienights.com, all-star tickets, locations. Stu, looking forward to the show. We can't wait to see you in a few weeks.
Thanks much. Great talking with you today.